my project is about the railway industry and economic development.
Tree planting car at Sandyland.
World War II, one of the world's most gruesome wars in history, spanning.
I'm Nova Martin. Welcome to Canada's history through the eyes of young citizens. Today, we will be showing you 4 videos made by young filmmakers in the province of Manitoba. These films have been chosen from projects at community heritage fairs all over the province. These videos include Canadian heroes and key moments in Canada's history. Now let's begin with a trip across Canada with understanding the hardships and the history of connecting Canada with CP Rail.
And I attend Arthur A. Leach School in Winnipeg, Manitoba. My project is on the Canadian Pacific Railway. It was a dream of Prime Minister Sir John Macdonald to build a railway from Montreal to the Pacific Ocean. In 1868, the people of British Columbia liked this idea. Many were having financial troubles after the gold rush. A railway would open up job opportunities across the nation. Macdonald founded a private group called the Canadian Pacific Railway, CPR. 10 years to survey and determine the best route across Canada. Survey crew crossed the country looking for the cheapest and most direct way for the tracks to be laid. Survey crew lived in tents and crossed mountains and prairies. It took 30,000 workers and 4.5 years to build the 3,200 kilometers of track across Canada. When they were finished, many Chinese workers were fired on the spot and forced to find their way out of the Frontier Canyon. Many of these workers settled in BC and helped create towns across the lower mainland. In the 1880s, First Nations in the Canadian prairies were not happy about having trains coming through their land. They had heard about the railroad in the U.S. and seen how it brought death to many buffalo. They depended on buffalo for food and shelter. Since buffalo were hard to find, many of the First Nations had settled in one place and began a life of farming. When the CPR wanted to move them to another reserve to make way for the railroad, for every 10 Canadian workers, there were 70 Chinese workers. Chinese workers were paid $1 a day and had to pay for their own equipment and housing, while white laborers were paid $1.50 to $1.75 a day, which were given equipment. Chinese workers were often given the most dangerous jobs, such as blasting. This resulted in many deaths. It was estimated that 4 Chinese workers died for each mile of track. The honor of hammering in the final spike was given to the eldest CPR Director-President Donald A. Smith. General Manager William Van Horns was also there. Many people think the last spike was made of gold like the American Transcontinental Railroad last spike. Although the Governor General meant to bring a silver spike,
I've been from old Vancouver right down to Newfoundland. I've traveled through old Canada and I'll travel there again. My heart is like the 3 wise men once guided by a star. So I left my blues to wander on the flying CPR. Can you hear that big 8-wheeler go clicking down the rail? We're on the flying CPR and believe me, she can sail. So take me flying with you away from a trifling girl. And I know by the way that whistle whines, we're gonna span the world. Go rumble through the mountains, go flashing by the sea.
Welcome back. I'm here with Kyle, the creator of the film you just saw. Hi, Kyle.
hello.
Now, I have a couple of questions for you. First question, what did you find most interesting about the construction of the railway?
Well, I found that Canada was taking Chinese workers. I found it very interesting that the Chinese workers, they were paying them about half what they would pay the Canadians, and also they made them do the hard labor and gave them no equipment. So the Canadians were getting twice the amount of money, and they also got equipment.
Why do you think the construction of the railway should be remembered in Canadian history?
Well, I think it's very important because it was the main part where they connected all of Canada together, and also for an interesting fact, if there was no railway, British BC would not be part of Canada right now, because once they put the railway on, U.S. did not want BC anymore.
Very interesting. Thank you very much. Now we shall be back right after the break.